Flight 5342 maintained its typical operational profile until everything changed. The planes of American Eagle Flight 5342 operated without difficulties as passengers became comfortable while pilots conducted normal flight protocols. The flight followed its normal course during its entire duration. The appearance of everything being normal before an aviation disaster becomes clear only after the disaster happens. When an emergency occurs at elevation 30,000 feet, the aircraft lacks the ability to pause or halt operations. The situation refused to turn into an action movie where heroes appear to save lives. No dramatic music, no slow-motion escape. Just real pilots, real decisions, and real consequences. Flight 5342 operated on a regional service while numerous other aircraft flew around it at the same altitude. Aircraft travel through a complicated flight path known as airspace that becomes a disaster zone with a single mistaken maneuver or single calculation error. Modern radar technology and rigorous air traffic regulations together with trained flight skills decrease the likelihood of aircraft jostling in the air. But rare doesn't mean impossible. Both planes managed to be on a collision course in spite of the established safety precautions. The cause of this tragedy could result from human mistakes or technical malfunctions or unfortunate misfortune of the worst kind. Training for emergency responses exists in aviation, but it stops just short of being fully effective. Approaching such situations demands instant action without any moment of doubt because time seems to contract down to milliseconds while alarms scream. The plane piloted by Flight 5342 was about to face a danger that every pilot dreads. A situation which forced an unenviable choice between disaster and safety. And the terrifying part? The situation occurred inside a brief span of time. One moment, everything was normal. The next, chaos. The aircraft was currently at its designated spot until a second airplane entered the location. Flying aircraft lacks the common irresponsible behaviors people often commit with their automobiles, such as horn honking or last-minute vehicle changes. The alarming sound and instant awareness of disaster are the sole indications that planes have come dangerously close to each other. The essential purpose of air traffic control organizations is to stop this specific kind of situation. Aboard aircraft systems generate loud warnings to pilots which state climb and descend. Descend. A mismatch between aircraft instructions leads to immediate catastrophic situations as planes approach each other. Flight 5342 experienced the horrifying experience of dependency on independent traffic safety protocols. Two aircraft confronted a major sky-space problem because of a brief communication mishap. The stereotypes about mid-air plane crashes showing explosions are false, since real-world accidents often reveal a different result. While plane-to-plane collisions do occur, there are instances when aircraft manage to perform successful landings. Others, the outcome is always controlled by gravity when facing airplane collisions. Flight 5342 survived or perished because of the proximity gap between aircraft. A few foot shift towards one direction would have made this story suitable for pilots to share between coffee breaks. Several feet of difference would have revealed the site of a catastrophic plane accident among the most fatal in recent times. Pilots had seconds, literally seconds, to react. Zeal-oriented mistake would result in a disaster exceeding work-related issues. It would mean disaster. The flight's fate at that moment marked whether adequate reactions prevented casualties or it was already doomed. These vital seconds contain a truth that turns out to be horrifying. Planes maintain better GPS functionality than smartphones, yet air traffic controllers managed to come close to a mid-air collision in this situation. Being human means we make mistakes, which in aviation merits serious life-threatening consequences. The combination of poor coordination and suspected operator mistake and poor timing juxtaposed Flight 5342 into a dangerous operational sector. Multiple air traffic controllers who handle many flights simultaneously face intense pressure of managing several hundred flight operations at once. Airplane pilots use their instructions together with crash avoidance systems built into their aircraft. The systems encounter complications when their instructions do not match up. That's when chaos takes over. During that fateful moment, both aircraft maintained their current altitude since neither response occurred quickly enough to take direction. Any delay in aviation operations lasting only 1 second will result in fatal outcomes. The good news? All systems showed almost flawless performance during this event. The bad news? Almost doesn't belong in aviation. The dangerous encounter between aircraft revealed unsafe operating conditions which motivated safety officials to re-examine procedures. Proper flight communication methods together with advanced automation systems and enhanced pilot training standards have become priority objectives. So, what's the takeaway? Flight transportation remains the most secure mode of travel, although the highest performing systems should be subject to perpetual development. Not along with your pilot's announcement of waiting for clearance because complaining would be an undeserved reaction. Believe me when I say that you definitely hope they are thoroughly verifying all operations. People who fly must understand that in aviation there are no opportunities to do things twice. This explains Flight 5342's narrative. Now go appreciate your pilot. Waiting to purchase them a coffee must happen only after the flight's safe conclusion